Hi, welcome to your first video, your first spelling lesson, and your first lesson with Goose in the background. He's right over there. So today we are introducing our spelling words for this week. We are studying the sound ah. Say it with me. Ah. And over here you might recognize this. A, apple, ah. Say it with me. A, apple, ah. What would come next? B, ball, b. Can you go through the entire alphabet and do those? Now, luckily, the ah that you've been studying in kindergarten is going to help you now in first grade. Each of the words that I'm going to introduce to you as part of our spelling words are going to have the ah sound in them. So just like ah, apple has it, so do each of the words that I will now give you. Your job is to take these words and complete one of two assignments that I will show you. You can complete both if you so choose. Okay, so first, let's go through those words. You can find them on our website. Am, ack, k, at, k, atten, r, atten, b, at, d, add, b, ack, m, add. Now, the other two words that are part of our spelling words that we will be tested on Friday, it's an easy test though, don't worry guys, are high frequency words. High frequency words are also called sight words. They are words that do not necessarily follow a pattern, just like the ah did in all of these words, and they tend to be words you just need to memorize to read them and also to write them correctly. So our two high frequency words are on and way. Okay, so let's go back to our presentation. We have a, apple, ah. Now, you will need a journal similar to this one. It could look different. It just needs to be some sort of a journal. It should be fairly large. We do not want a small little tiny journal. So if you have like a little notepad, that's not going to work. It needs to be able to fit an entire page in it. It's actually one of the things that I asked you to be ready for first grade. And you want to get this ready so that when we do return back to the classroom together, you are all ready and we can just continue our lessons. This journal is going to be reserved for language arts and math. Hold on one second. So my instructions are to go get a helper if you do not have one near you, ask to borrow a Sharpie, and have your helper write language arts and math and then your number from your name tag on the front of your journal. That way when you come back to school, this journal is all ready for learning. All right. The first assignment is called Rainbow Words, and you probably guessed it involves rainbows. You will need a pencil, a pack of crayons, or colored pencils, markers, chalk, gel pens. You kind of get the drift. It could be any of those things. And this paper from your lesson scan pages that says it says rainbow words at the top, and there is a rainbow. First step, take your pencil and you neatly write the spelling word. Then you trace over that spelling word. In this case, you choose 3 crayons. I chose 3. I chose red, blue, and yellow. And then you trace over that word carefully with each of those 3 crayons or markers or colored pencils or gel pens. And it leaves this really pretty rainbow. Now, I want to take each of those spelling words from the website that we looked at, and I'm going to write them on each of these lines. So my next one might be bat, and then dad and mad. It does not have to be in the same order that I read them to you, but you need to make sure you have each of those words and you have the high frequency words. So I need to see on and way as well. Okay, so that's how we do that. Then what you'll do is you'll take your page And I think I had to trim around the outside, and I glued that page into my book. And then I actually wrote down the date as well. This is a good practice for you. When we write the date, we tend to use numbers, and the numbers actually tell us the month and the day and the year. So this number 8 stands for August. August is the 8th month. It is the 17th day in August, so we have August 17th. And what's the year, first grade? 2020. You are correct. Okay, the second assignment is called What Goes in the Basket? You will need a pencil, crayons, or colored pencils, markers, chalk, gel pens, and your basket paper. It looks like this. Step number 1, cut off the words at the bottom of the page. Then I glued my paper into my journal. I had to trim my paper before it would fit. Next, I chose a brightly colored crayon to highlight words that have the short A sound, like b-ack. So what you should do is read through each of these and decide which one has ah. If it does, you're going to highlight it. It could be yellow like my color, or another brightly colored crayon would be just fine. So go through each of these and do that now. I suggest you pause me. Then, once you have each of the words highlighted that go inside the basket, now why would we take the word back and put it in the basket? Well, they do start with B together, but what about that vowel sound? Do you hear ah in basket and ah in back? You betcha. That's why it goes in the basket. It has the short A sound. Do you need an extra challenge? You can fill in the rest of the blanks, like I did here, with short A words that you can think of. You can also use the rest of your spelling words. So for instance, I wrote the word sack. Then I'm going to cut it out and put it inside the basket. There are lots of blank spaces. You could even do longer words. Let's say you wanted to do the word ball. That one would fit in there. Anything with the ah sound. All right. Once all of the words are inside the basket, you're done. You may want to go back and do the first assignment and just try to challenge yourself a little bit, guys. Last slide. All done. Great job. Okay, so go through, complete either one of those assignments or both. Practice those spelling words. I suggest you write them down. Maybe put them in a place where you're going to look at them often. That way you can study them all throughout the week. See you soon.